into our questions. Finding the area of my shaded region. Anybody want to help me? Also, guys, I said this to the other class. Our first step that we're going to do when we see questions like this is the first step is don't panic. The first step is don't panic. Let's not psych ourselves out and say, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, because we do. We do know what's happening. We just need to take it one little baby step at a time. I don't see anybody wanting to help me, so it looks like I'm going to be doing the work myself today. I'll give you guys a break, but only for the first one. For the next one, I expect you guys to please help me. So, it says find the area of the shaded region. Now, this shaded region, clearly I can see it's not a full circle, it's not a semicircle, it's not any of the shapes that I know. But I can do something with this big circle, and I see a right angled triangle in there. I can do something with that. I can work with that, and I can figure out how to get my final answer as the area of the shaded region. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say, I want to calculate the area of a quarter of my circle. Why do I want to do the area of a quarter of my circle? You could do Pythagoras Narisha, but we don't actually need it in this case. And I'll show you why when we get to doing the triangle. Let me show you what my game plan is. Let me tell you guys what my game plan is. My game plan is, I'm going to take this whole quarter of a circle. This is what I'm calculating now. I'm calculating the area of a quarter of my circle. And therefore what I'm going to do is, I'm going to calculate the area of the small little triangle in there. And I'm going to subtract it. So I'm then going to take this. I'm going to calculate the area of this part. And I'm going to take it away. And can you see, once you take away the triangle, we end up with the area of my shaded region. So that's what I'm doing. That's my game plan. That's what I'm going to follow. So to calculate the area of a quarter of my circle, we already know how to calculate the area of a full circle. And to calculate the area of a quarter circle, we're just going to divide that by 4 or multiply by a half. Not by a half, multiply by a quarter. Area of my circle is going to be a quarter pi r squared. And I see someone telling me that my radius is 10. You are so correct, because the 20 is my diameter. So I'm going to go in quarter pi. Someone please calculate this answer for me. So long. While I do it with you guys, quarter pi times 10 squared. Quarter pi times 10 squared. 78,53. Wanga, be careful with your rounding off. It was actually 78,539. And because it was 539, let's just do it over here, 78,539. Remember, when we're rounding to 2 decimals, I am going to look at my third decimal, and that's going to tell me whether I change my 3, whether I go up a number or whether I keep it as it is. So because 9 is above 5, I'm going to change this to 78,54. There you go. And that is going to be centimeters squared. Now I have my quarter circle. Now let's go and let's do area of my triangle. Narisha, this is why we don't need to do Pythagoras just yet, because the area of my triangle is half base times height. If we look at this, I know what my base is. My base, I'm going to take this as my base, and that's going to be 10. And then here's my height. And this height, guys, I'm so sorry about my skew lines. But this height over here, that is also going to be, if you can see, it's also a radius. So it's also going to be 10. And what do we have then? Half of 10 times 10. And let's do brackets there. Sorry. Half of 10 times 10. And I see an answer in the chat. Thank you, Wanga. It is 50. Now, to find the area of my shaded region, it's not so bad. Area of shaded region is going to be equals to 78,54 minus 50, and that is going to give me 28,54, and let's not forget units, guys, when we do this. Centimeters squared. Okay, and that's it. Not so bad, right? Can you see what I mean when I say it's just basics? It's a bunch of basics that's put together. You guys know the area of a circle. You know the area of a triangle. And then all that we did that was just a little bit more difficult is we had to just subtract the two. So it's really not so bad. Does this make sense to everybody? If anybody wants a screenshot, now's your time to do so, please. Are there any questions? There you go, Narisha. I'm glad. Any questions, guys? Is everybody good? Please put a thumbs up in the chat if you are good, thumbs down if you have no idea what we just did, or if you're just a little bit lost and need me to explain something. Not that bad. I agree. I agree that it wasn't that bad. So now that you guys see that it's not that bad, I expect you guys to participate with me in the next one. I want someone to try and help me. Even if you try, guys. I'm not saying get it right. That's never what I'm saying, but I'm just saying try. So let's go to our next question. I see lots of thumbs up. Okay. This one, guys, I know, it's a lot. It looks scary. It does. But again, it's not so bad. Is there anybody who is going to be brave enough to try and help me? Halissa, thank you so much.
Ma'am, I can try.
That's all I'm asking.
So,
Where are
ma'am,
do you want to start with area or circumference?
ma'am, we can start with area.
Okay. Tell me what's your game plan?
Pardon, ma'am?
What is your game plan?
The formula for area.
Yeah, okay, yes. Tell me, let's start with that. What's the formula of area?
Radius, pi times radius squared.
Okay. Now, how do you think you're going to get the area? Is this a full circle?
Ma'am, I think because we're given the radius, it's going to be easy to solve.
Okay.
So, ma'am, we say pi times 14 squared.
Okay.
Am I right, ma'am?
Yes. 5 times 14 squared. Sorry, I'm just looking at because you're doing a different method to what I thought of. And your method is actually so much easier. But yes, you 100% can. But what I want you to see is, can you see that what you're doing right now is you're calculating the area of a full circle, which means you're giving me the area of this whole circle over here.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what I'm looking for?
No.
No, right? So what we can do is we can do the area of the semicircle over here. Okay, so I'm seeing two methods to do it. I'm going to take you through it and you tell me which one.
No problem.
I'm seeing a semicircle. So I'm going to label the semicircle number 1. And then I'm seeing the semicircle over here. Are you seeing that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this whole semicircle, the green part, the green one. Okay, let's include this so that we don't confuse everybody. This one over here is going to be semicircle number 2. And then there's another semicircle. Are you seeing the other semicircle?
Yes, ma'am. The one below.
I hope this actually comes out looking better than that. No, it doesn't, but okay. It's fine. We can see it's a different color. That's my other semicircle, and that's going to be semicircle number 3. So what I can do is I can take semicircle number 1, and I can add semicircle number 2, and then I can minus semicircle number 3. Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Or can you see that semicircle number 1 and semicircle number 3 is actually going to be
Three are the same.
Exactly, right? They're going to be the
Yes,
same.
ma'am.
So instead of doing this whole long, elaborate calculation, and that's why when you were telling me your method, I was like, why is that so much easier than mine? Because I didn't actually see that these are the same thing. So what I can do is I can kind of just say the area of this entire green semicircle, right?
Mhm.
Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody else with me, guys? I hope that makes sense. So let's go. Now, what is the formula for area of a semicircle?
Isn't it a half
Mm-hmm.
times pi r squared?
Yes.
So, ma'am, then we say half. Ma'am, which half are we using? The 14.
Yes.
Then we're gonna
So,
say pi
yes.
times 14 squared, which gives us 307 comma. Ma'am, must you round it off?
Two decimals for you.
87.
Comma 87. Just a tip for you guys. If they don't say how many decimals to round off, the standard that we always do is just two. So just always go with two if there's no instruction. Okay, so that's area of the semicircle. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you didn't see that these two semicircles are the same thing, what I could have done is done this whole elaborate thing that I just explained. Take area of semicircle number 1, then calculate semicircle number 2 and add, and then minus semicircle number 3. You understand that method, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Do you want to help me with circumference as well, or are you tapping out?
Ma'am, I can try.
Okay. Tell me now what are you thinking?
Ma'am, I'm thinking we should add the whole circle up.
How? What do you mean?
Ma'am, right, we know that the whole diameter is, because 14 plus 14 is 28.
Mm-hmm.
So then, ma'am, we found that what you call this diameter, so we can work out the whole circle.
Okay, but I think when we're doing perimeter, remember what we're doing is we're calculating the length of all of this outside space of my shape. So it would be wrong for me to calculate like a full circle because again, that would be giving me this whole circle over here. And that's not what we're looking for, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm seeing answer is one decimal off. Guys, let's be careful, Calista. Let's be careful with our rounding. It is
Oh,
0.88.
ma'am, doesn't it change to 98?
This rounding here.
Yes, ma'am.
No, if we were rounding to two decimals, remember what we would do is we would look at the third decimal. And my third decimal would tell me whether I change my second one by increasing it or by leaving it as it is.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
So what was your third decimal? Do you still have the answer with you?
Ma'am, the third decimal was, I can quickly check.
Mm-hmm. This was 7. Instead of 7,8,
Ma'am, it was 6.
6. So
Yes, ma'am.
when we round into two decimals, we look at the third decimal to tell us what to do with the second decimal. If this third number over here is bigger than 5, then our second one is going to increase by 1.
By 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Makes
okay,
sense.
ma'am. Yes.
So that's why it changed to 0.88. Okay, back to our circumference. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking now this is what we'll have to do. I'll have to calculate the circumference of a semicircle over here, which I know will be the same thing as over here. And then I can calculate the circumference of my big semicircle and add it all up together. Are you with?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's try calculate the area of my small semicircle. Not area, circumference. What's my formula?
So, pi times diameter. Oh, ma'am,
Yeah.
we start with the small one. A half times pi times diameter.
Okay, here we go.
Then, ma'am, we say the answer is, ma'am, right? We say 14 plus 14 to get the diameter.
Because look at this. Can you see this whole thing is the 14 already? This whole thing is my diameter.
Oh, so we don't include it.
Yeah.
So, ma'am,
So
the
because
answer
we
is
use
21,
diameter, we shouldn't.
comma.
Sorry, you were saying your answer is 21, comma?
99. So if you round it off, I think it's gonna be 10.
It was 21, comma 9,
9.
and the third decimal was
1.
1. Okay, so remember, we're rounding to 2 decimal places. You look at the third decimal. Is my third decimal bigger than 5?
No, ma'am. So it remains the same.
It remains. There we go. And this would be centimeters. And then,
2 centimeters squared.
remember we're doing circumference. So circumference is just normal units.
Oh.
And then, do you agree with me that we've now calculated this section over here? We've calculated the circumference.
Yes, ma'am. The first circumference.
Do you agree that this part over here is going to be the same?
Yes, ma'am. So it's also going to be 21,99.
And so let's do my last calculation over here. Can you calculate for me the circumference of this big semicircle?
So, ma'am, what we do is say a half radius. I mean pi times radius.
Okay.
Diameter.
Okay, so let's use this formula. 2 pi r. That's better, right? Because we have our radius.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's use that. Then this is
So,
going to be
ma'am, our answer is 615,75.
61, comma.
Oh no, ma'am, I added a cube. Sorry, ma'am. It's 43,98.
43,98 centimeters.
2.
It was 0.982.
Yes, ma'am. So it doesn't change.
Okay. There we go. Now, what do? Now if I'm going to say circumference of shape, that's my whole shape. What am I going to do? I'm going to take 21,99 plus 21,99 plus 43,98. Do you understand what I just did?
Yes, ma'am. You adding everything all up.
Give me the answer, please.
The answer is 395,84.
Check again. We're adding everything. Your answer should be 20, 40, 80, 80 something.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm checking again.
Anybody in the chat that has done this calculation for us, please?
Ma'am, it's giving me 395,84.
395. Adding 21 and 21 and 23.
Oh, ma'am, I added 307,88.
Check that for me. 87,96.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Does this make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so glad. It's not so bad, right? Once you do it in little baby steps.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay. Anybody else that's confused or has a question? Does everybody else understand what just happened? Because I know this one was a bit of a weird shape. But actually, if you just look at it, it was a semicircle and a semicircle and a semicircle. Again, a bunch of basics. They just put lots of basics together and then you get like panicky. But we don't have to because it's still what we know. It's basics. I see a thumbs up. Thank you, Wanga, for letting me know. Anybody that needs to screenshot, now is your time to do so. And let us move on. How many marks can this be? Wow, honestly, let's ask Miss Cat. Miss Cat is the teacher. Miss Cat, how many marks are we going to give here?
All right. For the whole thing with the area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one for the formula of area,
Mm-hmm.
one for substitution,
Okay.
and if I'm being nice, I'll give you one for the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And the method of adding. So that C of shape plus plus plus. It's a
Okay.
method mark. And then wait, how many circumferences did you get? 1, 2,
Technically
3.
three, but yeah, two is the same. So
So just 2 for the ones that are different. So that's about 6 marks.
there you go, guys. 6 marks.
And maybe an extra one for the unit by area because everyone forgets the square.
Mm-hmm. This is what I say, guys. Let's never forget our units. That's a special bonus mark for us. Easy, easy marks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Cat.
All right. Did you see my message?
Me.
Yes.
No.
Okay, someone was confused about the difference between the circumference where
Mm-hmm.
you use pi diameter and then you use 2 pi r suddenly. Someone was
Okay.
like, okay, what just happened?
Okay. Oh, I don't want to show us this. What do I write? Okay. I want you guys to see something. There's actually two formulas to calculate circumference, but it means the same thing. There, you can say that your circumference is equals to pi times your diameter, or you can say that your circumference is equals to 2 pi r. What does this mean? Do you guys agree that my diameter is equals to 2 times my radius? So if I have my diameter, I can divide my diameter by 2 and then I get my radius. No, Narisha, the last lesson will be on Thursday. So, because my diameter is the same thing as 2 radii, here, can you see that I have pi times the diameter? Yeah, I also technically have pi times the diameter because it's pi times 2r, which is 2 of my radii, which brings me straight back to a diameter. So you can use either formula depending on what you have. That's why with this one here, I used pi d because in this small little semicircle, 14 was my full diameter. But in my big semicircle, 14 was my radius. So what I could have done is I could have used pi d, but first I would have to work out my diameter, and I would have been 14 times 2, and that would have been 28. And then I would have said pi times 28. Yes, Wanga, your equation there is correct as well. That's manipulation of our formula, 100%. So that's how I got that. It's the same thing. I just used the formulas that suited me at the time. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Moving on, guys. Moving on. This one is too easy for you guys. I want us to go past this. I want us to do this one. Let's give it a second to load quickly. Okay, here we are. We are at the area of the shape. Again, let's not panic, guys. Let's not panic. Anybody want to help me? Anybody? Somebody? I will start us off. Let me show you guys how actually it's like super easy. I see a big rectangle. Okay, I see a big rectangle. Let's act like my line is straight. My lines are super, super, super straight. I see a big rectangle. I hope you guys are all seeing the same big rectangle. Now, if I were to calculate the area of this shape over here, what would I do? I'm going to calculate the area of my big rectangle, And then what they basically did was they cut out 3 semicircles. I really want to color this thing in nicely, but it's taking me forever. But this will be good enough. Okay, there we go. Now, what do I want to do? I want to go, yes, semicircles minus the semicircles, 100%. So I'm going to cut out my semicircle. So I'm going to calculate the area of the semicircle and I'm going to subtract it. I'm going to calculate the area of this semicircle and I'm going to subtract it. And what do I notice about these two semicircles? They have the same diameter, which means that they're going to be the same. The area of these semicircles is going to be the same. And then I can calculate this one and subtract. So I want to label this semicircle 1, semicircle 2, and semicircle 3. I see answers in the chat. Prince, yes. Today's lesson is area and perimeter. So we're doing revision on all of our 2D shape knowledge that we've gained in this term. Yes, there we go, Miss Cat. I told you it is revision. So yes, guys. Okay, so you guys know what to do, but nobody wants to help me. That's sad. Okay, let us get started. I'm first gonna do area of my big rectangle, which is gonna be what? Can someone tell me what the area of my big rectangle is? Thank you, Theo. Theo, are you helping me or do you have a question?
I'm gonna help you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Can you tell me what's the area of my big rectangle?
So ma'am, it is length times breadth, and then it's 6 times 9, and then you get 54, ma'am.
Can you tell me how you got the 6 and the 9?
So ma'am, at the top I said 1 plus 4 plus 1, which gave me 6. And then on the sides I said 2 plus 5 plus 2, which I got 9.
So for anybody who was confused about that, we just added all the lengths of this side and we added all the lengths of that side to get the 6 and the 9. Thank you, Theo. Are you still helping me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what are we doing next?
Ma'am, we're gonna calculate the area for the half circle,
Which one are we doing? Number 1, 2, or 3?
the first one.
Okay, number 1, let's go.
So ma'am, it's gonna be a half times pi radius to the radius squared.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna say pi square a half times pi times radius 2 to the power of 2, which is the radius, ma'am.
Thank you. And my answer there is?
Okay. Ma'am, it's gonna be 6,28 centimeters squared.
Thank you so much. Centimeters squared. Now, for this next one, I want you to see how I'm trying to make our life a little bit easier. I'm gonna do the area of semicircle 2 and 3. And so because do you agree with me that it's gonna be the same calculation?
Sorry, ma'am?
I'm gonna calculate the area of semicircle 2 and semicircle 3 together. Because do you agree with me that they are gonna be the same?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm gonna do the area of a semicircle, and then I'm just gonna multiply it by 2 because I have 2 of the same semicircles. Are you okay with that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just hold on for me super quickly. Yes, somebody asked why was the radius 2 squared instead of 4 squared? 100% what Miss Cat said. 4 was my diameter. So when we're substituting in for my radius, remember what I said, that if you have your diameter, you divide it by 2 and then you get your radius. Okay, back to you, Theo. Let us go. What is the area of a semicircle? You already told me, but let's do it again.
So, ma'am, it's a half times pi
Mm-hmm.
times radius squared. So it's a half times pi times 2,5 squared.
Okay, half times pi times 2,5 squared. And remember I said I'm multiplying by 2 at the end of it because I have 2 of those semicircles.
Oh yes, ma'am. Times.
Okay.
So ma'am, it gives you 19,63 centimeters squared.
Okay, I hope you rounded off correctly, but thank you so much for that. And no, that wasn't so bad, right? So now we are on our final step. To get the area of my shape, what are we doing? Theo, are you still helping me?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am. So ma'am, we're gonna take the area for the whole rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna subtract 6,28
Mm-hmm.
and 19,63.
Mm-hmm.
So we get, and then we're gonna get 28,09, ma'am, centimeters squared.
Oh, thank you so much. Does that make sense?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Theo. Guys, does everybody understand what we just did? Yes, I see a yes. Wanda, thank you so much for participating in our chat. Come on, guys. 52 of us. That's actually not that little. Here's Marie, Petronella. Thank you, guys. There we go. Now we have some yeses. Okay, see, guys, not so bad. Again, basics. We did a rectangle, and then we did 3 semicircles, and we just minus a bunch of them. Basics. Don't forget your basics. As long as you know basics, you can do anything. Okay, actually, before we do this one, let's give our brains a break. Let's do a super quick brain break. Sia's hand went up so super quickly. Sia, I'm assuming your hand is up for the brain break.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Sia. Is your hand up for the brain break?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you rather eat a block of blue cheese or a handful of sand?
I'll go for the block of blue cheese because that one I won't get, I might not get sick from it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna have to agree with you. As much as I hate blue cheese, like I would do that over sand. Who's swallowing sand? Have you ever tried to swallow sand, Sia?
No,
Yeah, can you imagine it?
yeah,
No, guys, I don't know. Did anybody choose? Someone chose sand. Guys, okay, but a handful. I've also eaten sand before. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But like it was like 2 grains of sand, you know? A handful. How are you gonna eat a whole handful of sand? There's no way, you guys. There's no way. You guys that are choosing sand. Oh my gosh. Okay, Theo. Would you rather eat chocolate-coated onions or broccoli stuffed M&Ms?
Ooh, okay. So, ma'am, I'd
Mhm.
eat broccoli stuffed M&Ms, ma'am.
I agree with you. I agree with you. What's your reasoning? Do you just not like onions?
Ma'am, first of all, I hate onions, ma'am. I
Okay,
hate it, ma'am. And on chocolate, ma'am, that's
I
disgusting.
agree. Also, imagine how huge is an onion. None of us eat this whole onion. Like, no, I'd rather do the M&Ms, you know. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Theo. Guys, chocolate coated onions again. I'm so sorry, but I feel so passionately about my answers today. Chocolate coated onions. I see Tashvika win. Chocolate coated onions. Oh, my lord. You guys, no ways. There's no ways. Okay, and where to? Would you rather be stuck in a dark room with a bat or the snake?
The Batman.
Oh no, why a bat?
Man, snakes have venom. Bats don't have venom. Snakes can kill. Bats
Okay,
just
but
scare
it's
you.
not all snakes.
I mean, yeah, okay, not all snakes, but if it's a poisonous, then I would choose the bat. If
Okay, but if it wasn't poisonous,
it wasn't poisonous, I would try and chill with it.
I agree. I agree, right? Because imagine you're in the dark and then there's this bat just flying at you and you can't see where it's coming from, what it's doing. Isn't that scary?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank Yeah, no, bats are, I'm sorry. Nando, I don't know how you ever said you'd go the bat. Truly.
Well, they might be scary, but it's Batman. But you know Batman, yeah? Batman is like he's a cool character. So if it's cool,
But Batman
if
named
Batman,
himself Batman because he was scared of bats.
yes, man.
You see, so come on, guys. Even Batman was scared of bats. That's my argument. That's all I'm saying. Okay, is there no other hand for our last brain break question? Sorry, Tandoweto, I clicked unmute again. Palesa.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi. Would you rather receive the worst birthday gift or no gift at all?
No gift at all.
Really? But what if someone like tried really hard to get you a gift and they just ended up getting a bad gift?
No, ma'am. Then what was the use of the gift? Because I don't like it. So rather not.
Oh, it's the thought that counts.
Not really.
Okay, Melissa, I see. Oh my gosh, you guys are all choosing no gift. That's mean. I feel like that's mean. Thank you, Miss Cat. They are picky. Melissa, oh my gosh. No, guys. It's the thought that counts. Come on. If someone tries super hard, it's okay. It's fine. You tried. You tried. Yes, a worst gift is something at least. I agree. I agree, guys. I go with the worst gift. Okay, back to work, guys. Back to work, back to work. Okay, next one. It says a square is drawn inside a circle so that its vertices lie on the circle. I hope you all know what a vertex is. What a vertex is. It's one vertex, many vertices. I hope you know that a vertices. I hope that you know that they need corners. So they're just having it that the corners of my square touches my circle. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but I just saw someone say they're throwing the gift away. That's so mean. Yes, so I see an answer. It's a corner, yes, it's alright. It is a corner. So they just told us that my corners touch my circle. Then they told me that one side of my square is equals to 20 centimeters. Now, the question tells me to calculate the diameter of the circle. How am I going to do that? Any answers? Any answers? Hello, Etu, is your hand up to help me?
Oh, sorry, ma'am. It was the brain break.
Okay, no problem.
Mhm.
Okay, now, how do I do that? Anybody but Miss Cat is giving us a beautiful hint over there. I'll give you another hint and tell you to use the properties of a square. Anybody, somebody, come on, guys. 52 of us, one of us has to know something. 10 centimeters. No, it is not 10 centimeters. Immediately they told me it's a square. So immediately, as soon as I see something that says a shape, a quadrilateral specifically, I want to remember all of my properties of a quadrilateral. Okay, so immediately when I have a square, I know that all of my sides are equal. What else do I know about a square? I still know about diagonals. You're getting somewhere. You are getting somewhere. All 90 degrees? Yes, that is so right. All of my angles in a square are 90 degrees. Now, I'm going to do something and I hope somebody can tell me where to go from here. What now? Anybody? Somebody? Pythagoras. Thank you, guys. So I can do Pythagoras. I have a right angle triangle over here in this little diagonal half of my square. And I can do Pythagoras to calculate the diagonal of my square, which is also my hypotenuse of my triangle, which is also the diameter of my circle. So let's go. I'm sure a lot of you remember Abu Khan. Abu was our #1 ambassador of Pythagoras with his papyrus. Let's go. So we're going to say a squared plus b squared equals 2c squared. Whatever formula it is that you guys know for Pythagoras, write it down. And then as soon as you write down your Pythagoras theorem, remember we're doing geometry here now, so I need a reason. So you're gonna write Pythag. Then a squared is gonna be 20 squared. B squared is gonna be this line over here, which is also 20. Why? Properties of a square, all the same sides. C squared. Was no, he didn't pass away. He is still very much alive. He's just not in our lessons, guys. He is not in our lessons anymore. 20 squared. 400. Does someone want to help me from here? This point on? Come on, guys. Let's participate. The more we participate, the more we understand. Okay. 20 squared. 20 times 20. 400 plus 400 equals 2. C squared. I'm just swapping this around quickly. C squared is equals to 800. I want to square root both sides because I want to get C by itself. And then somebody tell me the answer to the square root of 800, please. Let's see. Square root of 800. And let's remember to round off correctly. 28,28. Thank you so much. 28,28. Okay, so I'm going to erase all my stuff over here. And I just want to make a little highlight over here so that I know that's my diameter. And that is going to be 28,28. Now that's part 1 done and dusted. Part 2 says calculate the shaded area rounded off to 1 decimal place. And I just want to highlight that because let's not highlight 2 decimal places when they told us highlight. When they told us round off to 1 decimal place. So area of my shaded region. It's actually super similar to the one that we did above. Do you agree with me, guys, that I can calculate the area of a quarter of my circle and then calculate the area of the triangle? So I have a quarter of my circle over here. I can calculate the area of this whole quarter and then I can calculate the area of my, let's do the different color. No, let's go with it. Centimeters, thank you so much for giving me my units. I would have lost my mark there. Then we calculate the area of this triangle over here, and if we take that away from my quarter circle, I can get the area of my shaded region. So that's my game plan. Also, that's something that I want you guys to kind of try and do when you get questions like this, is I want you guys to look at the shape and I want you guys to try and figure out, how can I work this out? How can I do it? And once you figure out how you can do it, then you can start your calculations. Because I remember what I used to do is I used to just start doing calculations and then like halfway through this long, elaborate calculation, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is wrong. And then I wasted like so much time in my test. So come up with a game plan first and make sure your game plan is going to work. And then continue. So that's my game plan. I'm doing area of a quarter of my circle. And that is going to be a quarter pi r squared. And I'm going to substitute in over here. What is my radius? My radius is going to be half of my diameter. Remember, we calculate my diameter, not my radius. So I'm going to half that, and I'm going to get 14,14. Square that. Somebody do my answer for me. While I also do it. 14,14. Okay, I am getting 157,03. Thank you. 100. Who was that in the chat? Tyler, thank you. 157,03 centimeters. And here we have centimeters squared. And then my area of my triangle is going to be, so if we look at this triangle, guys, I'm going to go again and erase my game plan so that you guys can see. If I were to do area of, not area, yes, area of this triangle, can you see the length of this side over here is going to be what? Do you agree with me that this is a radius? So that's going to be 14,14. And do you agree that this side over here is also a radius? Yeah, it's easier to see because it's half of my diameter. So that's also going to be 14,14. And so I'm going to say, I'm going to use this as my base. So I'm going to say this is my base. And I'm going to use this as my height. Why can I use it as my height? Because this is going to be a right angle. Because again, if I think back to my properties of 2D shapes, specifically in this case, a property of a square, I think you guys would remember that your diagonals bisect each other and they create 90-degree angles while they do that. So I have a right angle triangle over there that I can use to calculate my area with. So let's change my color back to black. Let us go half of my base times my height. It's going to be half of 14,14 times 14,14. And what is that going to get me? 14,14. Divide that 2. I'm getting 99. 99. Yeah. 99,97. Oh my gosh, somebody verify my answer. It looks wrong. 99,97. Okay, we're getting the same answer. Cool. 99,97 centimeters squared. So here we can see my game plan. Game plan, guys. We can see my game plan coming to life. I calculated the quarter circle. I calculated the triangle. Now what do I do to calculate the area that's shaded? I'm gonna go 157,03. I'm going to minus 99,97. And what am I gonna get? 99. 157,03 minus 99.97. I'm getting 57,06. Thank you, Samuel. 57,06 centimeters squared. And can we see how we all got that? I hope that made sense to everybody. Thumbs up, thumbs down, you guys. I think this one was our last one for today.